7.
One, two, three. Oh yeah!
Woo! All right.
Big wheels keep on turning. Tell me home to see my kid. Singing songs about Southland. I miss Alabama once again, and I think it's a sin. Yeah! Well, I heard Mr. Young sing about her. Well, I heard O'Neill put her down. Well, I hope Neil Young will remember. A son of man don't need him around anyhow. Sweet.
All right, Patriots, strap in. Because if tonight's show don't light your fuse, check your pulse, because you might be one of them zombie Democrats. Welcome to Blunt Force Politics. I'm your host, Dirty South Josh, and we're diving headfirst into the circus, so let's roll.
In Birmingham, they love the governor. Boo, boo, boo. Now we all did what we could do. Now Watergate does not bother me. Does your conscience bother you? Tell the truth. Sweet.
All right, good evening, freedom fighters. Tonight on Blunt Force Politics, we're unpacking the Epstein files, dropping like a bad Tinder date. House just voted them free. Trump's giving the Saudi prince a high five over that Khashoggi mess, saying, shit happens. German twins check out together in assisted suicide. Talk about going out with a bang. Oh, and the UN's rubber stamping Trump's Gaza peace plan. Mexico and Venezuela is throwing shade at the border. The Dems are eating their own over Chuy Garcia's retirement drama. Mr. Beast builds a Saudi thrill ride. Macy's parades with Lego lunacy. A cow crashes into Ohio traffic. Gaza's amputees are kicking soccer's hopeful dreams. Bezos' birth. An AI beast. Libs are melting down over the shutdown ending. And Trump warns Seattle woke mayor her World Cup party's gonna be a crime spree. And the DEA busts a fentanyl pill mountain in Colorado. So buckle up. This show's gonna hurt so good. All right. Here we go. Oh, wrong one. This one. All right, just double checking. All right, here we go. I guess I got to turn this camera up just slightly. You don't need to look at my tatas. But I am sporting the Punisher shirt. I'll tell you what. It is episode 11, and right off the bat, I've got the headlines of doom. The House has overwhelmingly passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Let's go to our clip.
Vote. The yeas are 427. The nays are 1. 2/3 being in the affirmative. The rules are suspended. The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Yeah, pass that
Well, there we
motion.
go. That is official confirmation. A bit of to and fro in earlier on, but we do now have, as I say, confirmation. The US has passed that bill to release those Epstein files. It will now go to the US Senate. David Blevins is with us from Washington. And David, cheers from the public gallery, it seems there, and claps, I would suggest, largely from Democrats members.
Yes, that's right. And in the public gallery at the House of Representatives this evening are survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. 435 voting members there are. 427 of them have voted to suspend the rules, to rush through this bill, to release the Epstein files. That really is extraordinary. I counted just one Republican vote against. There were a handful of other members who didn't vote at all, but it does now move this to the next stage. The two-thirds majority is pretty overwhelming as it makes its way, this bill, now to the Senate. Democrats are concerned that the Senate, which has a Republican majority of just 3, could seek to tamper with the bill in some way, to add some amendments to it, which could result in it having to go back to the House of Representatives. But it becomes increasingly difficult for them to do that when you're looking at 427 members of the House of Representatives having weighed in behind it. And if the Senate approves it also by a two-thirds majority, this bill then ends up on the desk of the President of the United States.
And we already know the president's gonna sign that after Trump and the GOP allies backed off their initial opposition to avoid a revolt. Well, if yesterday's headlines were a dumpster fire, today is Jeffrey Epstein's little black book getting photocopied for the whole dang neighborhood, where these suits in Congress finally grow a spine and vote to unleash the Epstein files. That's not a vote. That was a lynching party, 427 to 1. Trump had to eat a little crow on this one because y'all initially thought it'd drag MAGA through the mud, but when his own team started jumping ship faster than rats on the Titanic, he flipped like a gymnast on Red Bull. Smart move, Don, because transparency's the MAGA way, even if it means airing out some billionaire pedo laundry. Imagine the popcorn sales when these docs hit. Oh, look, another Clinton pal with a Lolita Express punch card. Jokes on the deep state. They thought they buried this deeper than Jimmy Hoffa, but here's the punchline. If Epstein did kill himself, this vote's the ghost saying, publish or perish. And my MAGA take? Well, hell yeah, sunlight's the best disinfectant. Let the chips fall, even if they land on some fancy island getaway. We ain't hiding nothing, unlike the Dems who probably got a do not release stamp on Hunter's laptop. So stay tuned, Patriots. This doom train's just leaving the station. I thought I had that ready. I'm getting better at this, doing live production by myself. But up into headline 2, Trump is defending the Saudi crown prince with things happen on the Khashoggi killing. During a White House meeting, President Trump shrugged off questions about Jamal Khashoggi's, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, 2018 murder, praising MBS and saying the Crown Prince knew nothing, while quipping, things happen. Let's roll the footage.
I want to bring in our chief White House correspondent, Peter Alexander, to try to go through some of this. Peter, a lot of conversation about the cooperation between the two countries, about the relationship between those two men. President Trump repeatedly was praising the Crown Prince, and there were some critical questions there that maybe you can run us through. But start with the headlines.
Well, I think the biggest headline, frankly, was what came out of the president's remarks right out of the gates and how sort of chummy he was with Mohammed bin Salman, clasping hands at times, back and forth, patting him on the leg multiple times, appearing to laugh with him. A man who only a matter of years ago was viewed as a pariah, now clearly seen as a close business partner of the president's. The president, his first remarks as he began speaking today were praising Mohammed bin Salman, saying that he is very proud of him on human rights and everything else, which I think for any observer here really did see a way that did appear to be a way that the president was trying to dismiss the controversy that has surrounded Mohammed bin Salman, dating back to the killing and dismembering of the Washington Post, the Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, back in 2018. The CIA has since has since determined their belief is that MBS, that Bin Salman was responsible for that killing. So I thought that was most interesting right out of the gates there. The president was pressed by one of our colleagues in the press pool there about the situation, specifically Khashoggi was pressed about the situation.
Fire up them joints to get through this bullshit.
MBS was pressed about the situation relating to Jamal Khashoggi. The president interrupted, attacked the reporter asking that question, and the president again defended MBS in that moment, in effect saying that he had nothing to do with it, and disparaging Jamal Khashoggi, saying that he was a controversial figure. And he said, in the president's words, things happen, his way of describing the murder that took place of that Saudi journalist now 7 years ago. So those were some of the biggest things that struck me. We talked about the sort of closeness and the way the two interacted. Another thing that's particularly striking, I think, was just how forthcoming, in effect, how much opportunity there was for reporters to be able to press Mohammed bin Salman on some questions on a variety of topics. The president did praise him for his role on human rights, as I noted, and there are some ways in which he is deserving of some praise right now. They have lessened some of the restrictions placed on women in that country back 7 years ago, allowing women in Saudi Arabia now to drive. They have what's called Vision 2030 as well. So that is one place where there are a series of topics on which I think MBS does deserve some credit. Clearly, the two trying to work together as it relates to sales on F-35s and other items related to AI.
Other items related to AI. In other news, I am a giant douchebag for NBC. There he is, Don the Dealmaker, giving Saudi's MBS a bro hug while dodging Khashoggi questions like they're a vegan rib joint. Hey, he knew nothing. He knew nothing. What's the punchline? Well, Trump's playing 4D chess here, keeping oil flowing, arms deals rolling, and the libs are clutching pearls like it's their job. I think that is their actual job description. My MAGA spin on that is damn right. America first means hugging allies who buy our bombs, not crying over a reporter who picked the wrong consulate closet. Khashoggi was no saint. Y'all Oppo research on that guy's thicker than a phone book. But hey, the outrage machine, it's just Dems jealous because their foreign policy is, sorry, we'll send thoughts and pronouns. Trump, he's got the Saudis eaten out of his hand. Literally, the menu's got gold-plated hummus. Doom? Nah, this is diplomacy with frickin' balls. Give them the F-35s. And we'll jump up next. Headline number 3. The famous Kessler twins, Alice and Ellen, ended their lives together via assisted suicide in Switzerland, sparking renewed debates on euthanasia in Europe. Y'all, if life's a cabinet, these German gals just pulled the final curtain together in a Swiss clinic, sipping hemlock smoothies at 89. Here is our clip on that.
The death of the Kessler twins, the twins who made show business history in the 1960s, has become a political issue because it has reignited the debate on assisted suicide, a practice that has been the subject of a long political battle in our country. But despite this battle, despite all the attempts that have been made, there has still been no clear law on this issue.
Okay, I actually didn't realize that whole thing was going to be that kind of crap. I didn't realize it was just going to be an image with some AI voice on the article. That's not a huge deal. The Kessler twins were dancers, singers, basically Europe's answer to the Andrews sisters on steroids. Decided, tag, you're it. Meant, tag, we're out. Assisted suicide? Now, it's like choosing the express lane to the pearly gates. They ain't no traffic. We're just headed right there. They went out holding hands because nothing says till death do us part like a double dose of whatever's in that mystery syringe. Europe's all autonomy and dignity, but hey, let's be real. It's just fancy talk for Netflix ran out of seasons. Well, over here in red states, we fight to the last breath because quitting early is for libs who can't handle a second Trump term without a safe space. But seriously, twins sinking their exits, that's commitment scarier than a Biden budget. The doom du jour of celebrities are opting for the off-ramp. What's next? Hollywood signs gets do not resuscitate. Rest easy, ladies. You danced your way to the big stage in the sky. And I don't really have much of a personal take on that other than that because I don't agree with the suicide at all like that. I mean, if you're like a day away from something horrible happening, like you're on your deathbed with cancer, I could see that. Yeah. Whatever. Headline number 4. UN Security Council approves Trump's Gaza peace plan. What? The UNSC passed a U.S.-backed resolution endorsing Trump's 20-point Gaza peace plan, marking a diplomatic win amid ongoing Middle East tensions. Hallelujah, and pass the ammo, because the UN's finally doing something useful, slapping Trump's Gaza peace plan with a big old approval stamp. And here they are doing exactly that.
With those in favor of the draft resolution, please raise their hand.
The United States wanted the UN Security Council to endorse Donald Trump's 20-point Gaza ceasefire agreement. And that is exactly what the U.S. got.
Today's resolution represents another significant step towards a stable Gaza that will be able to prosper and an environment that will allow Israel to live in security.
Trump made his feelings on the vote clear, saying, "Congratulations to the world on the incredible vote of the United Nations Security Council. This will go down as one of the biggest approvals in the history of the United Nations." Russia and China had reservations.
Russia and China can lick our butts. They're always going to have reservations on anything UN related because that's just what they do. But 20 points of pure deal-making genius. Borders. What am I spilling? Nothing important. Borders with security. You got no more rocket roulette and the world body saying, "De comrade." Well, UN approving a Trump plan, that's like the DMV giving Elon a speeding ticket. Shocks the system a little bit. While Hamas is hiding behind hospital laundry, Trump's blueprints got Israel and Palestine sharing a peace pipe instead of pipe bombs. This is what happens when you send a lion to negotiate, not a lamb. Biden's, come on, man, diplomacy got us ceasefires on napkins. Trump's got UN gold. The doom? Only for the terror lobby crying because their fundraisers just got canceled. Imagine the headlines in Tehran. The Ayatollah's Netflix queue now includes The Art of the Deal. Patriots, this ain't just headlines, it's freaking history. Trump style, big, bold, and bullying the bad guys who get into bed. And finally, headline number 5. Tensions are escalating. Trump refuses to rule out military strikes on Mexican cartels. So are Venezuelan ops, heightening diplomatic friction as border drug flows surge. Well, the border's hotter than a jalapeno enema, y'all. And Trump's eyeballing Mexico and Venezuela like a hawk in a henhouse, threatening kinetic kisses if they don't quit the cartel cuddle fest. Let's see what's up in that part of the world.
Tensions between the United States, Mexico, and Venezuela rise as kinetic strikes against narco-terrorists increase. The Department of Homeland Security launches Operation Charlotte's Web in Charlotte, North Carolina, and last-minute squabbling before the House of Representatives votes on releasing more of the files on Jeffrey Epstein. I'm Tony Kinnett, host of the Daily Signal's Tony Kinnett Cast, syndicated nationally at 7 p.m. Eastern. It is Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. This is the Daily Signal's top news in 10. Tensions continue to increase between the United States, Mexico, and Venezuela after not only a series of strikes against Venezuelan narco-terrorist boats and terror groups in the eastern Pacific off the coast of South America, Mexico is also running into a couple of issues. Over the weekend and into Monday, a series of protests turned into violent riots after many in Generation Z claimed that Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of the United States of Mexico, was in bed with the cartels and was purchased by them. Federal police then arrested many of those who were rioting, and also several that, according to video evidence, were not in the riots at all, but were just teenagers chanting along with those protesting. Sheinbaum has recently stated that she would not be sending the Mexican National Guard or the federal police to go after the cartels operating in many parts of Mexico, saying that she believed it violated the rule of law as well as human rights. 37 Mexican political candidates have been assassinated in the last year. And the situation between the United States and Venezuela is not necessarily getting any better. The president of the United States has said that he would be willing to talk with Maduro while simultaneously increasing the number of kinetic strikes as well as the presence of the USS Gerald R. Ford in the Southern Caribbean. We talked to our senior correspondent, Virginia Allen, for more. We now move over to our senior news producer, as well as the one acting as our defense and foreign correspondent, the best of correspondents, huge, they might say. Virginia Allen, thanks for joining us.
Tony, it's always a pleasure to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's not beat around the bush. Tell us what's going on. You covered the Venezuelan situation over the weekend. I know that's rapidly escalating. What's going on?
It is rapidly escalating, changing really by the minute, even hour. We saw a lot of action unfold over the weekend when President Donald Trump spoke to reporters on Sunday night, and he was asked, are you willing to have a conversation with the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro? And Trump said yes. He said, Maduro wants to talk to me, and his exact words were, I'll talk to anybody. And we have seen that time and time again with this president. He's willing to have conversations with those that previous administrations have not been willing to talk with. Now, this willingness to talk, critical moment for there to be communication, because keep in mind some of the events that have led up to really this escalation of tension between the United States and Venezuela. So much focus from the Trump administration on the drugs and the cartel activity out of Venezuela. We've seen now upwards of 20 strikes on drug boats in the Caribbean, in
not just the
Eastern
Caribbean,
Pacific.
The Eastern Pacific as well at the end of the week. That was, I won't say startling, but I did notice the ocean name change on some of the news reports. Where are those Pacific-based craft coming from?
Yeah, Colombia, Tony, is one of the primary ones, along with Peru and Ecuador, all countries that the Andes mountain range runs through. I've been in those mountains. It's, of course, really treacherous terrain, but because it is such treacherous terrain, it does, I think, give the cartels a real advantage to carry out operations, often with little enforcement from authorities. And so these boats are coming into the waters, and we've seen the Trump administration take decisive action, aka blowing them up, in order to prevent those boats from reaching U.S. shores with those drug loads. And we saw also over the weekend that Secretary Marco Rubio took a really critical step in giving the U.S. even more authority to address the threats of these cartels that are operating in South and Central America, specifically in Venezuela. So the U.S. has now declared one of the large cartels in Venezuela, Cartel de los Soles, as a foreign terrorist organization. Now, this is a cartel that the Trump administration claims Maduro is essentially the head of. Of course, the Maduro regime denies that.
Not just a state-sponsored cartel, essentially the state, they claim, is embedded itself in this particular Cartel de los Soles. And this is one of the things that I noticed in at least some of the coverage over the weekend. When you discuss the Andean nations and the mountain ranges on the Eastern Pacific, all the way up that provide cover for narco operations to operate out of, that's essentially kind of in the mountains and hills style terrorist last minute operations, right? But when it comes to Venezuela, if you have the head of the country, which is essentially operating this large cartel, no wonder there's so much focus on the ports of Venezuela, given that that allows for larger shipping, larger coordination. It's right out in the open. It has all the logistical capacity that major highways and train routes going to those ports carry. So it certainly puts a lot of pressure on the regime instead of just saying kind of a cartel in general, like Tren de Araguas. Meanwhile, the Department of Homeland Security has launched Operation Charlotte's Web in Charlotte, North Carolina, claiming...
All right, we don't care about North Carolina right now in this news segment, but strikes? Well, that's music to my southern ears. Mexico's like, ay caramba, not the drones, while Venezuela's Maduro is sweating more than a socialist at a tax audit. This ain't diplomacy, it's do or die. Trump's drawing lines in the sand with laser-guided missiles. Open borders under Biden were a fentanyl free-for-all. Now Don's saying pay the wall or pay the piper. Doom for the drug lords, good. Imagine the cartel's group chat. Hermanos, practice sombrero, gringos got tomahawks on speed dial. We built the wall for this because nothing says America first like booming back at the boom times down south of the border. And I tell you, these freaking Democrats all whining about it too. I see it on all of the left-sided media outlets, CBS, MSNBC, NBC, ABC. They've all been guilty of this, CNN, of trying to downplay it and say things like, well, you know, it's not actually fentanyl coming out of there, it's cocaine. Like, that should make a difference, as well as when they make statements like, oh, a lot of those are headed to Europe. Like, who cares? They're right there. Let's take it out. We'll give Europe a hand. Oh, stay frosty, folks, because it's time for the big grill. It's a little slow burn on it. So it's grill time, patriots. Strap in for a few minutes of pure, uncut, democratic self-cannibalization, because nothing grills better than libs roasting their own over an open flame of hypocrisy. So here, let's check this out.
So right in the middle of last night's debate over the bill to reopen the government, there was a surprise scolding from a lawmaker who turned on fellow Democrat Congressman Chuy Garcia.
From the House floor, there was a call for a vote to sanction the Chicago congressman, the rebuke over his last-minute decision to retire from Congress, and only letting his chief of staff know so that she was the only one to file petitions to replace him. Our political reporter, Mary Nahern, here in the studio with more on the drama surrounding Garcia's sudden retirement.
Absolutely, Allison and Stephan. A fellow Democrat says handpicking your successor is wrong, and last night spoke from the House floor, wanting other members of Congress to also rebuke Chuy Garcia. In the midst of the debate over the government shutdown, Washington State Congresswoman Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez sharply critical of Congressman Chuy Garcia.
Representative Garcia's actions are beneath the dignity of his office and incompatible with the spirit of the Constitution.
Garcia originally filed petitions to run for re-election, then at the last minute told only his chief of staff, Patty Garcia, no relation, he was not going to run. Last night, Congressman Jonathan Jackson tried to defend Chuy Garcia on the House floor, but his microphone was cut off.
I'd like to thank.
There was no vote taken yet in the House. As for those who knew for several days that Chuy Garcia planned to drop out, NBC5 obtained a copy of Patty Garcia's petitions. And not only did Congressman Chuy Garcia sign her petition, so did 6 other elected officials and 2 members of the Chicago School Board. Patty Garcia defended herself.
We followed the rules, we collected signatures, and we submitted an application. People can apply at any point. We didn't stop anybody from applying.
Still, after the drama on the House floor, Congressman Chuy Garcia's spokeswoman posted a statement asking for compassion and respect. Last week, Garcia told NBC5 his own health, his wife's, and the needs of his grandchildren contributed to his last-minute decision. A Democratic senator from New Jersey, Andy Kim, however, says steps need to be taken to restore the people's right to choose. Political science professor Stephen Maynard Caliendo on why Democrats today are willing to criticize their own.
It is consistent
with calls from both sides about hypocrisy or only calling out certain things. I think there was an opportunity to say we stand for something principled here, and even when our own member will do it, we're not afraid to say so.
There is still a chance that the vote on the sanction resolution against the congressman might happen next week, but the rules state it has to be reintroduced.
Yeah, reintroduced, man. There it is. Illinois Representative Chuy Garcia pulls a classic Dem ditch, announces his retirement, then last minute bails on his primary, leaving his district in the lurch.
The time is 7:30.
Like a bad blind date. Now fellow blue blood Marie Glusenkamp Perez is leading the charge with a resolution calling him out for undermining the process. I'm about to murder a dog out there. And the Dems are turning on each other faster than a vegan at a steakhouse. Now, first off, Garcia's play, well, it's pure chicken shit. Guy rides the progressive wave. Immigration crusader, squad adjacent. Then when the heart's on, he goes harder than Hunter Biden at a drug test. Retirement tease, that's just bait to flush out challengers. Then psych, I'm out. It's like proposing marriage, then eloping with your side chick. And Perez, Washington's own blue dog Dem, usually toe in the party line, but even she can't stomach this snake oil. Undermining democracy, she says. Well, pot, meat kettle, but hey, at least one's got a spine. Now, zoom out of this. This ain't isolated idiocracy. It's the Dem machine rusting from the inside. Remember AOC's squad fractured like a bad spray tan? Pelosi's iron fist slipped. Now it's finger-pointing free-for-all. Why? Because without Trump as the boogeyman, their big tent's just a clown car with no brakes. Garcia's bailout exposes the rot. These folks preach save democracy while jerry-rigging their own elections like a Chicago ballot box at midnight. Little joke break, because even in the grill we need a laugh. If the Dem primaries were a barbecue, Garcia's the tofu that fell in the coals, burnt, bitter, and nobody's eating it. Trump's building walls, and the Dems are building circular firing squads. And the deeper cut on this, the meltdown's a gift to MAGA, shows the base their heroes are hollow, talk tough on borders, but when it's their backyard, they get crickets. Garcia's district, heavy Latino, blue as the Pacific, perfect for a red wave if he flames out. Trump's watching, grinning, because nothing unites us like watching the opposition eat itself alive. In the serious turn, folks, politics ain't beanbag, but this, it's a symptom of soul-sick socialism. Power over principle every time. MAGA's a little bit different. Fight fair, win big, govern for all. The Dems, they'll grill in their future on a spit of spite. Here's my takeaway. Let them bicker. We'll build, we'll win, and when the smoke clears, well, I'll be right here flipping the real meat. That was a longer monologue than I expected to be doing. At least I didn't totally botch that up, other than this dog that just needs to learn to quit barking at the kitty cats. We are live from the cabin in the DeSoto National Forest. It's time for the rapid fire ridiculousness. Oh, we got some little headlines for you. One sentence on this one is YouTube King Mr. Beast just unveiled his first theme park in Saudi Arabia, promising thrills bigger than his giveaway stunts. It's dumb. Saudis paid top dollar because nothing says oil money well spent like a beast coaster that launches you faster than a Scud missile. Well, and the libs boycott the Kingdom for Human Rights. Beast over there is building dreams and dodging drones. The MAGA vibe is capitalism is unbound. Turn the desert into delight. No pronouns required. A little ridiculous, but in the best way. I'd be down. I'll go out there. Let's ride a freaking... I'm all about roller coasters. I freaking love that stuff. All right. Macy's Thanksgiving Parade gears up with 7 new floats including Labubu monsters, Lego bricks, and Lindt chocolate wonders.
Hey, good morning, guys. This is my annual trip to the Macy's Parade Studio. It is right here that they create the floats that you see at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. They've been designing and creating all year long, and I am joined by the creative director, Brendan Kennedy, who has been outdoing himself every year.
Oh, wow.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, and welcome back to the Macy's Parade Studio. It's so great to have you getting ready for the 99th Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And right above me, we have the icon, the moment. We have
Can I touch
Labubu.
it?
Oh, please do.
Oh, it's so soft.
First time ever in parade history, we have these two giant furry inflatables, Labubu and Makoko, and they are mischievously wrapping the buildings for a Friendsgiving party with their friends, Skull Panda and Demu. We have Molly in the back and Ducku, and of course, Peach Riot. It's so nice to have figurines for Riot Girls.
I love that you know all the Pop Mart names.
You'll get to know them all very soon.
So we go from a nice Friendsgiving, wow,
Welcome
to Hawkins.
to Hawkins. So right here we have the Hawkins National Laboratory. They are going to ride down the parade route with an 8.5-foot tall, life-size Demogorgon puppet.
Oh, there's an actual puppeteer running this?
There's a puppeteer in there, and I think this is a testament to what the Macy's Parade Studio does well, which is welding, carpentry, artistry, scenic painting. We created our own paint just to make sure it was perfectly stretched out.
Could bend and stretch and move. That's incredible. I feel like I'm actually in the show.
It's a magic to have our friends at Stranger Things join us at the parade and spook the guests a little bit.
Well, guys, in case you forgot all the facts here, they go through 2,000 gallons of paint, 300 pounds of glitter, 200 pounds of confetti. I think we should try out some of the confetti, huh?
Let's try some.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Let's have a parade!
Hey, let's have a parade. Thanksgiving's coming, and instead of pilgrims, we got plastic bricks marching down Broadway, and Labubu sounds like a demon from a bad acid trip, perfect for ruining kids' nightmares pre-turkey. While the Dems paraded their victimhood, Macy's is serving joy on wheels, because nothing fixes election blues like a 50-foot Lego Trump Tower. And the ridiculous gold is, imagine the wind gust Lindt float melts into a chocolate apocalypse. Family fun with no agenda. You can gobble on that just like your turkey on Thanksgiving. Rapid fire number 3. A rogue cow has escaped. Holy shit. What is the world coming to? Hey, this is your traffic report over here. Ohio's got a cow apocalypse. One loose heifer halts the highway like she's auditioning for bovine bandits. Oh, I think it is time for a clip.
We do have some breaking news on I-270 we want to point out to you, because Hilliard police have part of the road shut down because apparently, as you see all the cars there, there's a cow out there on the road somewhere. We've been looking for it. Ohio doesn't apparently have a move over law, I guess. But this is a live look for you right along I-270.
Move over.
Shut down all the southbound lanes. It's happening right at Davidson Road there. Police say they are helping the owner try to wrangle that cow back on the truck.
Get that cow back on the truck. I guess AOC took a visit to Ohio, or maybe that was Rosie O'Donnell. I'm not exactly sure on that one. But the cops are wrangling Bessie at 70 miles an hour. That's peak American chaos. The driver behind her. This is utterly ridiculous. Well, in a world of EV mandates, this grass-fed rebel saying nay to the narrative. Free-range freedom. Borders for cows, too. Build that pasture wall. Ridiculous as a vegan rancher. Yeehaw! All right. Amputee soccers are stars in Gaza. Defy war wounds. Amputees athlete booting balls and barriers in a hope-fueled soccer showdown. Check this shit out.
Leaning on crutches and adjusting artificial limbs laid out on the touchline, dozens of Palestinian amputees gathered in central Gaza on Monday for a soccer tournament in the name of hope, dreams and the love of the sport. According to the organisers, some of the players lost limbs as a result of Israeli fire during the latest war in Gaza. Fadi Abu Amana is the technical manager of the Palestinian national amputee soccer team.
This championship comes under the title Hope, to cultivate hope again in gradual return of the sports life in general, and of the sports life of amputee athletes in particular. This championship brings together more than 50 amputee players, male adults, and more than 10 children of both genders. The championship will be organized of several matches, and a prize will be awarded to the winning team at the end of the championship.
All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. They lost some limbs to some bombs, but spirits are unbreakable, just like MAGA after January 6th. They're dribbling sharper than Biden's memory. 0 turnovers. While Hamas hides, these heroes' headlines proven resilience beats rockets every time. Trump's peace plans, the real MVP here, setting the stage for more games and less graves. Ridiculous? Nah. It's inspirational as bleep. I'm not going to give the censors the benefit on that one. We don't drop F-bombs on this program. Not anymore. Not anymore. Jeffrey Bezos doing some crap, jumping in the tech ring, the executive ring as the CEO of AI startup Prometheus, pumping $6.2 billion to start manufacturing. Bezos, the bald billionaire, flooding AI with Bezos bucks for factory wizardry. Amazon's ex-kingpin builds bots smarter than his ex-wife's lawyers. $6.2 billion, though. Shit. That's enough to buy Mars and a divorce attorney on retainer. While Zuck's dodging Federal Trade Commission slaps, Bezos is engineering the future, because nothing says innovation like turning robots into red state job creators. Ditch the union rust. AI's the new steel mill. It's ridiculous in riches. And in this next clip here, this next rapid fire, some woke liberals erupting over the shutdown ending after they claimed so much that the Republicans are the reason for this shutdown going on and on. It's lib wine o'clock. The shutdown's over and the snowflakes are melting harder than a freaking popsicle in July. Check out this tantrum.
Leader Jeffries, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer did make a new offer, effectively saying, let's extend Obamacare subsidies for 1 year in exchange for reopening the government for 1 year. You have said that you would support that proposal, but just last month you said this. Take a look.
A 1 year extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credit
guy's like one of the biggest
not acceptable.
liars.
It's
he has
a
to use his
non-starter.
hands. Just look at his
It's a
facial
non-starter.
expressions.
So, Leader Jeffries, what changed?
I'm possessed by Lucifer.
Well, the proposal that I was making reference to in October was something that was floated out there by a handful of rank-and-file House Republicans, and that was immediately rejected by House Republican leadership because they have no interest in driving down the high cost of living for everyday Americans. The Schumer proposal, of course, was offered in good faith.
As you saw from the intro, hey, look, I am open when I talk about how much I do not like Hakeem Jeffries. I don't give a damn. Like, I'm telling you, bootleg Obama is not the guy. He ain't him, right? As someone from people in my neck of the woods, he ain't him. He's not him, okay? And Democrats right now, they're seeming more open to the government being open. Apparently, at the time of me recording this video, November 9th on a Sunday, there's talks of it possibly the government reopening. 10 Democrats are
Okay, we already got his take on it too now.
planning to defect and vote for the bill. And
I didn't realize
the liberal influencers like Harry Sisson of the world.
I was looking at the complete wrong thing there, but these folks, like especially Hakeem Jeffries, I can't Can't stand it. Caving to MAGA, they howl like losing a game, too. That they rigged. The joke's on them. These folks treat compromise like garlic to vampires, hissing and holy water everywhere. Dems wanted shutdown pain for political gain. Now it's ended, and they're allergic to accountability. Imagine AOC crying over her barista's back pay. But my oat milk latte's delayed. We won without firing a shot, because sanity's the ultimate shutdown killer. You can freaking whine on and freaking on, especially Hakeem. It's just like such a freaking idiot, man. The way he talks with his hands, his body language, his facial expressions, his tone of voice, everything about him just says, I don't even think this guy believes the words coming out of his own mouth. We got the what the hell of the week, the WTF of the week. Hey, it's PG-13. I get one F-bomb per episode. It's the what the fuck of the week. Trump warning Seattle's freaking woke mayor about what's going to be happening out there. It's going to be World Cup safety or bust. You know? That's just the way it is. We freaking baby Jesus on a jet ski. What the fresh hell is even going on? Like, what? The WTF of the week goes to Seattle's simpering libs frothing at the mouth because Trump dared whispered safety into their echo chamber over the 2026 World Cup. And they're not happy about it either.
It's just outrage bait, I think. Trump is just rage baiting. Like, it's just, he's saying that because he wants to spark controversy and to spark divide. And so those kinds of statements, like, they just aren't true, really.
Seattleites are outspoken about President Trump's personal attack on the city. And tourists say perception doesn't match reality.
My mom was like, oh, you need to be safe. You should probably leave the city before it's dark, just because you hear about Seattle and that it's unsafe, and I actually don't feel unsafe at all.
Good afternoon. I'm delighted to welcome.
From the Oval Office Monday, the president called into question the city's ability to safely serve as one of several North American host cities for the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
If we think there's going to be a sign of any trouble, I would ask Johnny to move that to a different city. We have a lot of cities that would love to have it number one, and we'll do it very safely.
The Emerald City.
Seattle was announced as one of 11 U.S. host cities in 2022 to much fanfare. A report by Visit Seattle projects nearly $1 billion, $929 million, in economic impact in King County from the 6 matches hosted for the World Cup. But from the White House, Trump appeared more concerned with the politics of the city.
So if we think there's a problem in Seattle where you have a very, very liberal/communist mayor, I would say, it's certainly beyond just liberal. I watched her over the weekend. Wow, that's another beauty we got there.
Meanwhile, FIFA, the organizing body behind the Cup, says they're working closely with host cities and law enforcement and remain confident in their planning and coordination in advance of next summer's matches.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Freaking morons over there. I like it, man. Another beauty Trump calls the mayor-elect. It's code for woke wrecking ball and floats yanking matches if the Emerald City's crime wave turns fan zones into fight clubs. Liberals will up like old faithful on estrogen. Racist authoritarian, he's threatening soccer. Yeah. Well, let's Carlin this carcass, shall we? Just picture it. Seattle. Land of soy lattes and smash and grab spas where shoplifting's reparations rehearsal and tense outnumber taxpayers. Trump's like, hey, folks coming from Brazil, England, wherever don't want to dodge needles en route to the pitch. Logical? Like breathing, but no! These pearl clutchers see red or blue because any Trump truth-telling's a dog whistle louder than a Vuvuzela symphony. Well, the joke again. Mayor-elect's response. Will virtue signal the violence away? Because nothing stops a carjacker like a no-hate sticker. Sarcasm alert. Oh, sure. Blame Don for the crime status. It's not the defund the police fever dream. It's his mean tweets telepathically summon muggers. It's a deeper dive, man. It ain't about soccer. It's symptoms of the sickness. Libs built bunkers of bullshit. Cops are the real criminals. Now chickens coming home to roost. Feathers flying in FIFA form. Trump's offer, fix it or we flip the script. Move games to say Texas, where fans score goals, not fentanyl overdose. Seattle's libs are saying, but our pronouns protect us. The reality is pronouns don't pack heat. The WTF factor is maxed out, whining over warnings while their streets sizzle like a bad chalupa. Well, we warned you. Soft on crime, hard on sanity. Trump's the dad saying, hey, lock the door, and they're screaming, bigot, while the burglar's halfway through the friggin' window. Imagine game day. German tourists tripping over a hypodermic strat in Deutschland amid defund chants. Trump's fix is pragmatic patriotism, and the libs' meltdown, a pathetic piece of performance art. Well, Patriot, WTF's a wake-up. Woke world is wobbling. You can laugh at the lunacy, but lock your doors. Trump's guarding the goal. Libs are owning it. Boom! That's the end. That's pretty much all she wrote on that. And in our final segment on covering the Cartel Chronicles, DA actually did some pretty good seizure here recently. From the Chronicles time, compadres, where the cartels get chronicled, critiqued, and curb stomped by justice. Tonight, DEA's Rocky Mountain Division hauled in 1.7 million counterfeit fentanyl delf pills from a Colorado stash house, the sixth biggest U.S. bust ever. Here is a pile of footage for you to feast your eyes on while I take a pee-pee.
I want to thank all of you for joining us here today at the Drug Enforcement Administration Rocky Mountain Field Division, giving attention to both the public safety and public health threat which fentanyl and those who traffic it continue to present to our community. Fentanyl remains the deadliest drug threat to face our country, and the state of Colorado is certainly not immune from the harm it has done and continues to do. Fentanyl is the leading cause of death for Americans between the ages of 18 and 45. At a national level, drug overdose deaths have declined from highs of around 110,000 deaths in 2022 and 2023 to the most recently released data of 73,690 reported deaths for the 12-month period ending April of 2025. Those numbers still equate to filling a professional football stadium on a Sunday afternoon. While it's a positive sign that both state and nationwide overdose deaths are trending downward, Denver County is seeing an increase in overdose deaths compared to last year, with many of those deaths involving fentanyl. Our DEA Rocky Mountain Field Division is on pace to seize a record amount of fentanyl for 2025, in no small part due to the record-breaking seizure presented here today. With a reminder that only 2 milligrams of fentanyl is considered a lethal dose, and DEA's one pill can kill messaging, here laid out before you is the Colorado state record for a single seizure of fentanyl, approximately 198 kilograms, or an estimated 1.7 million counterfeit fentanyl pills, along with an additional 12 kilograms of fentanyl powder. This marks the largest ever single seizure of fentanyl in the state of Colorado and the 6th largest ever in the United States.
That's a whole lot of fentanyl. Sinaloa scum thought they'd flood the Rockies with rocket fuel. Nah, man. Feds turned their factory into a felony fiesta. Serious as a heart attack. These ain't M&Ms, man. One pop's a death sentence, enough here to wipe out a small town twice over. Cartels aren't businessmen. They're butchers in board shorts peddling poison across our porous border like it's prime delivery at Amazon. Biden's humane handover, a handshake to hell. Fentanyl's killing our kids faster than bad school, and Trump's wall would have walled off this wastewater. Cartel boss here in the bust. Aye, that's nacho cheese. Or pills. DA saying game over, but without border hawks, it's whack-a-mole with missiles. The deeper cut on that, Colorado's ground zero. Ski towns to suburbs, no escape. These fake oxys laced with enough synth to stun a rhino. Cartels laughing all the way to the vault till Uncle Sam kicks in the door. The MAGA mandate. Seal the sieve. Strike the snakes. Trump's threat to Mexico. Music to my ears. Imagine drones over the Delta not just delivering DoorDash. Busts a bandage on a bullet wound. Bravo, DEA, but we need the full surgery. Wall up, cartels down. Families ain't pawns, they're priceless. Well, the Dirty South Josh Vow will chronicle the Chronicles' end with freedom winning. Sick'em, stars, and stripes. Because that's how we shut them down. Shut them down. Shut them down. Well, Patriots! What a freaking rodeo, man. From Epstein's, trying to do 10 things at once. From Epstein's expose explosion, that was a lot of X's in there, to Trump's UN touchdown, twin tragedies to cow capers, the Dems devouring to fentanyl flushes. We grilled the absurd, rapid-fired the ridiculous, and WTF'd the woke whirlpool. Cartels got clocked, commercials got crazy, and you got the unfiltered truth, Southern style. If tonight's show was a border wall, the libs be tunneling under it already, complaining about the hate spikes. But serious takeaway? In this circus, MAGA's the strong man, lift insanity while the clowns trip. Stay vigilant. Don't forget. Vote red, love hard, and roll that outro.